First of all, guys, I wanted to do this special for you guys, for the community, for all the people that love me, for all the people that have been supporting me in the last 6 months. I've been in hiatus, healing, taking care of my family, taking care of myself, learning a lot of things. And one of the things that I pride myself in the community, how this community was built, was through storytelling. I started many years ago sharing my story after my divorce, and you guys went through that with me and have gone through so much with me. So I decided that I wanted to share the last 6 months with the community. I haven't had the bandwidth or the energy to share what that looks like for me on the other side. So before we get started with the daily quickies and somewhat of normal life back, I feel like I want to give you guys this so we can pick up where we left off. I don't want to share this during the daily quickies. I don't want to take up that space. So I am launching the daily quickies next week on the 2nd, after 6 months of intense life lessons, growth, grief, expansion, so much. So I want to tell you guys where I've been in the last 6 months. So those of you guys that are new, there's a lot of new of you guys joining the community. And I smile because you guys haven't gone to see this. You haven't gone to experience like my true essence, I would say. Because I've been in grieving. I've been grieving with my boys. The boys and I have been grieving. 6 months ago to the date, today is the 25th, so 6 months ago on the 27th of September, Mr. Ramon Canek passed away. Ramon is the father of my kids. He is a very special person in our life, in my life. We met when I was 19, he was 21, and we started a life. We built a life together. It was a beautiful time of my life with the boys, from nothing to having a beautiful everything. So throughout our journey, which one day I'll be able to share that story in depth, because a lot of you guys know it, but a lot of you guys don't know it. We really did build a beautiful family. And after he left and we divorced and we parted ways, I went on a really deep journey of healing and recovering myself. And this is what brings me here now, is I became a healer during that time. So during that time, I did a lot of radical forgiveness, because it was really hard when he left. The family broke apart. However, after I was able to forgive and heal, him and I had a really amazing relationship. De la greña, bien o mal, we were there together. We were true partners for our family. So him passing away 6 months ago it was really hard. It shook me and the boys to our foundation. It was something that I don't want to elaborate in these videos, because I think out of respect to his passing away, I don't think it's time to share the details. A lot of you guys do know, but he was too young. He was only 44. And as you can imagine, just realizing that for myself personally, I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for the boys, but what came next was going to be life-changing. Knowing that I'm alone now, that it's just me and my boys, and what happens next, right? There's really no one to lean on, because even though he was in his journey and had a lot of things that he was battling, he was there. He was there for the boys. He tried his best. So the last 6 months was first the news, he's in the ICU. And that's how it all starts. It's the news. He ends up at the ER, and the first time we went to visit, it was just Joshua and I, and that's when we realized how bad it was. And within days, it was on the 21st of September, and within days, it got really bad. And it was these decisions that I had to make personally with the boys, then with Ramon's family, like how to navigate what was going to happen. Immediately we knew that it's not good. So can you imagine from having somewhat of a normal life to boom, this is it, like he's going to be gone. How are we going to make this happen? What are the decisions that we make? Do I tell the boys how sick he is? Do I let them see him in that condition? It was very altering for my nervous system. It was altering for my reality. And at that time, looking back, to be honest with you, I think I went on survival. I didn't, something took over me, like this strength. I just felt like I was very stoic, and I was like, let's make this happen. And it was these decisions, and there was like moments of just like, I couldn't come to really grieve at that moment or cry. It was just like, how do I tell the boys? How do I navigate this? And that first time we went to see him with Ramon was so impacting to see Josh, how he reacted. And I remember having a conversation with Joshua soon after. How do we navigate this, right? Like, how do we tell the boys? And we did. And it happened really fast. I thought I actually had more time. That was on a Thursday. Sat with it. And then finally, like Sunday, he actually was doing better, Ramon. And we're like, okay, I actually relaxed. We have more time to figure this out. Woke up Monday morning on the 25th, and that was it. It was like, you have to make decisions like now. And I remember that day, I was actually at Rudy's house, and I left his house, took the kids out of school, and I had to tell them right away. Like, I had already been telling them, like, Dad's not doing well, he's in the hospital, but didn't know how bad it was. So that day, I just remember having that really hard conversation in the car before we left to the hospital. I don't think I had tears in my eyes because I was like, I have to be strong for them. And I just told them, Dad's not doing well. Who you guys are gonna see is not Dad anymore. He's in the ICU, he's not okay. So that was that, and we went to the hospital, and that visit was really hard. Because again, it goes beyond me. I feel like when it comes to me, like I know how strong I am and everything that I've been in my life, but when it comes to your children, it's a whole other thing. Just take a deep breath. Yeah, when it comes to your children, it's a whole other thing. And I think that all I can think of in those times is like praying to God, like, give me the strength to make sure that I am strong and that I don't fall weak, so that they have like a backbone. I didn't think about myself because all I can think is like literally, like I think unconsciously there was a prayer. And I still remember that day because I remember it was like the day before he passed when they were telling us what was going to happen next, that we were going to have to, do what we had to do. And because he wasn't good. So I remember that day and basically telling the boys what was going to happen next. And I just remember going to the bathroom of that 4th floor in Torrance Memorial. And I remember going to the bathroom and just screaming into my sweater and going to my knees, like, just help me, God, because like almost like telling God, like, I want to take their pain for them. Like, give me that. Like, I basically feel like I became bigger than life so I can protect the boys. And we just, that night, we stayed there the whole night. And the next morning he passed. And it was actually a very beautiful passing because we were all there. Just like so much love in that room. And we saw him take his last breath. And I just remember, I laugh now because like, how the fuck did I do it? I remember just like, it was about the kids. I was there for them. I didn't cry that much in front of them. And I remember once he passed, we were so exhausted because we actually slept in the hospital that night on the floor, because we just knew, like, we didn't want to miss a moment. And everything happens. We stay there for a while, and we end up going to Costco next door to eat because we were hungry. And I just remember the next few days were very surreal. I remember I actually had an event that evening at a LATV, and I canceled that event. It was a big event, actually. They were celebrating Latino Heritage Month. And I think I was in denial. Not denial, I was just like surreal. It was surreal to me back then. I remember going the next day to his apartment to clean it out and finding all these things. And all I can think of at that moment is just like the boys, right? The boys. So I'm just sitting here 6 months later, looking at that version of myself. And why I decided to do this was because, like, I can not share this with the community because you guys were there on the other side. And what happened actually like a week ago was Rudy's hike, and it was very interesting because I literally felt like I was dying. Like I was like trying to go up that hill, and my left side of my lung felt like it was collapsing. I've been sick for 6 months with a cough, with a cold. And yet that day I feel like something just came out of me. And what triggered me to do this was actually a good friend of ours, Emerson. He was seeing me struggle go up that hill, and he knew what happened. And he literally just tapped my back and he said, like, you're in your process. Like, you are on your journey. Like, kind of like saying, it all hit me at once. Like, shit, Cindy, it's only been 6 months. You're not Superwoman. Like, be graceful with yourself. Like, why am I trying to push myself to be who I was, to have that energy, to have that essence, to be bigger than life. That hike, I cried. And it just brought to me, like, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready to really step back in. I'm a whole other person though. I feel like in the last 6 months, I've learned so much about grieving. Oh my God, grieving. I have so much sympathy, so much understanding now for my clients that I get to see. It's interesting because I'm all the ways on the other side. People come to me because they're either grieving or they want me to channel their past loved ones. And it's such a blessing to be able to do that for a person to receive what they need. And now that I'm on the other side, it's a whole other thing. I'm learning. I feel like God has designed my life so perfectly to the point where, like, okay, I'm going to put you through a space of grieving so you could understand that and heal that in yourself, so you could be able to serve your grieving clients even better. And one thing I know for sure, grieving, I feel it's a lifetime. I feel like now that I'm here, grieving is going to be in your life forever. It doesn't ever go away. I really truly believe that. I feel like you have moments of like you're yourself and you can have fun and you're actually present and you feel fine. You don't feel sadness. I'm starting to find out that grieving necessarily doesn't mean sadness. It just means moments of remembrance, moments of actually feeling that person. And that's, at least I'm speaking for myself, because through these 6 months, I've had a beautiful connection with Ramon on the other side. Me being a medium, I feel him, I smell him, I dream him, I talk to him all the time. And I see myself living life and I'm good, but then there's these moments where I can feel him and I just cry. So to me, grieving is like, it's embracing that part of your life now. Like, that's a reality in your life. Someone that's important left your life, and now you have to learn how to be okay with that, number one. Give yourself time to process, heal, cry, whatever your body needs to do. In my case, there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to be doing for myself, like, getting a personal trainer, taking care of my body, things that my body is demanding now because I don't have the energy that I had before. So that's one. But the other part is like having a good support system to navigate the days where you are feeling not okay. So for me right now, that's what grieving is embracing my new reality. So that's kind of what's been happening in the last 6 months. I have so much more to share, but I need to take a deep breath right now.